We're gonna take this as the bedroom no matter what. What happened? Oh, replay. Can I get a replay? That was amazing.
Best one ever. We were no. Oh my god.
Got immediately backstabbed. We both got a point for that.
Yeah, we did.
Hey guys, and welcome to Friday Night Fun. I am the Mabini. This time, another exclusive. And this time I'm playing Euro Truck Simulator 2 Park and Brake. Been playing this quite a bit lately. Mostly, this is how I listen to a podcast. Playing Euro Truck Simulator 2 and listening to any podcast really. Because it's the podcasts that, well, it's been the H3 podcast and the Birdcast by, hang on buddy, oh boy, and the Birdcast, which is by Bert Kreisher, who's a comedian, and who was on the H3 podcast recently, and so I checked him out, and I went, this is interesting. I think it was mainly that I just took way too long to finish listening to his interview, and eventually the interview podcast thing on H3 got interesting, and I started to get interested in his stories because he talked a bit more about himself. I just don't, and I've just watched Secret Time, which is his latest show, and I don't think it's that great. God, that was close. They just kind of come 100 mile an hour, and then you gotta hope that they don't crash in the back of you, which is mostly why I've taken damage. I've got what is that my mouse tripping out? It is, it's like sliding or something. It's annoying. Anyway, what's my damage like? It's 3%, and it's only on the truck, which is the bit that doesn't matter that much because I don't lose any money, and so that bit's fine. But I think what happened was, because I'm in the UK here, actually I think I'm not in the UK, I think I'm in Germany or Poland or something. I have to wait till we see a sign, and then I'll be able to let you know what part of the world I'm in. I think there is an easier way to, yeah, if I go F1 and I click this thing, lil, there's no say. Destination is Erfurt, which sounds like a German name, so yep. Transporting apples. Doesn't say much. I was in the UK, and it's just the stupidest spot to be driving on, because they've got roundabouts everywhere, and what else? I think it was when I just got off the boat here in Europe that there's just it was impossible for me to pull out and not get hit by a truck, because it was just flying along way too fast, and maybe I just didn't come out at the right speed or something, but he just slammed on the brakes and didn't do very much damage to me. I think I must have made a few mistakes later on or something. It's not easy in heavy traffic when you're a truck because you got a trailer on the back and you're going, what the heck do I do? Okay. But Secret Time by Bert Kreisher is alright, maybe not his best. The Machine is his best. It's very good. He calls them specials. I don't know where he gets that name from, but it could just be that not every show he does is the one he wants to film. But when he wants to film it, he has to make sure he does a good job. And I want to know, does he actually put in extra effort? Does it make a difference whether he's being filmed or not? Maybe I'll have to listen to the podcast again, knowing a bit more about who he is and stuff like that. I think people say nice things to one another, and I don't think it's always called for. People like criticism, especially if they're an artist of some kind or a creator. A comedian is an artist. A person who writes is an artist. People whose job, the quality of their work is way... I mean, quality of work's always important in a job of any kind. But especially in the creative world, where it just it just seems to make a bigger impact. If it's not any good, it gets you nowhere, rather than if in a typical work world, it won't get you nowhere, it'll get you somewhere. Maybe it will give you more work somewhere along the lines, but it doesn't trip you up as much as producing low quality work in a creative sense. Like if my next comic was just not that great, it could undermine me further, and maybe the people who follow me on DeviantArt might go, oh, because the last one wasn't so good, I'm not gonna watch the next one, because the last one wasn't so good, I'm not gonna look at the next one. Whereas, and I suppose it still applies in the real world. If you're a plumber or something, you do a crap job, it shows. And it's important that you, when you make a mistake and there's a problem later on, and then they ring you up and say, hey, something's going wrong here, and it's just after your recent visit, you just can't do anything. You've got to toughen up and say, yep, made an error. You just gotta stick your neck out like a turtle and be all way. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, got it. This is how I listen to podcasts, and there was yet another one, some guy who, I can't remember what his name was, but he's another comedian, and he's known for The King of Queens, mainly, but he's also been in a bunch of movies lately, and I can't remember what his name was, but it was interesting to hear his stories. But in the H3 podcast, it takes a while to get warmed up, or maybe it takes me a while to get warmed up to go, okay, now I get an idea of who this guy is. Now I can listen to this guy with some understanding of what he actually does. Is this one gonna go? Yeah, it is. Oh! You just gotta pay attention to what the freaking GPS says. It doesn't say to go into just stay where you are. Then you just do what the thing tells you to do, I guess. Oh, and I need to go to sleep soon. As you can see by the red bed symbol, It was blue before, because it starts off just grey, and then it fills up with blue to say that you're getting sleepy. And when it's red, it's like you've got to go to sleep very soon. I had a fine. I think that's apparently, and that must be all you get from it, is that you just get a fine for sleeping behind the wheel rather than a truck accident, which is what I think should happen. You should just blank out. It should say you were in a serious accident for sleeping behind the wheel. The penalty from failing to deliver your job, to deliver the stuff that you were delivering, like in my case it's apples. Then like, there should be a penalty like that actually impacts you. You get a financial penalty for being a problem on the road. And then, oops. There we go. Don't need to fill it up, just need to get to the sleepy zone. Bump bump. Nice. But yeah, I think that Bert Kreisher is a bit hit and miss. Sometimes he's got a good one, sometimes he's not. But it's just, I guess he's not my style of comedian. But I think he's interesting, and so that's why I listen to his podcast. I think he's more interesting than his comedy, which to me suggests that he's just not able to turn his actual life into a joke. The lights. Okay. I've been listening to the Eyes No Tomato podcast as well. I thought I'd just write down all the topics that he covers, like what video he'd made and stuff like that, because I think he's interesting, because he's my friend, and it's interesting. He doesn't say that I'm his best friend, so I don't know if he changed his mind or something like that. Probably not. But who knows? But I think he's just uncomfortable saying that there's a hierarchy or something like that, because you know, when you're with any of your friends, they're still your friend, and you care the same amount about them, and you enjoy the time you spend with them. It doesn't matter which friend they are. It might make a difference, like how long you've known one another, and therefore how much you can trust them and stuff like that, and stuff you can tell them about. But yeah, he just says that I'm his friend, I'm his close friend. Does he say close friend? He does. It's funny, in his 10,000 subscriber podcast, there's police cars in this game now. It's interesting. What was I talking about? Yeah, in his 10,000 subscriber Q&A, I gave him 22 questions, I think, and he said that most of the questions that I'd asked, I know the answer to, and I just thought I'm gonna give him 20 questions, and then I just started making him up. What's your name? How old are you? What's your favorite color? and I was like, what's your favorite TF2 menu? Which is an interesting question, because I didn't really know what to put. I don't know why it's done. Yeah, so we're in Germany because it says Ausfahrt. That's how you learn German in whatever language they speak. Because I don't think German's a language. I think that it's probably based on one of the languages, maybe Prussian, whatever the language is spoken. There's probably a lot of different dialects in Germany as well. Probably in the same way that France is a very splintered country, and that you could say that England is like that as well. A lot of old countries have very like a culturally splintered country that's been brought together from war and empire and kingdoms. That's how France came together, that's how Germany came together, and England. An interesting topic is how long the UK is going to last now that it's no longer part of the UK. Well, it's no longer part of the EU. And that Scotland wants to have another referendum. And because those two countries are so closely tied together, it's a difficult subject to wrangle. Because you can say, oh, this is the way it should work because blah blah blah. This is what should be done to remove Scotland from the UK. And it doesn't, people bring up more things that people just didn't, that other people didn't think about. Like I was watching a video today by Geek Remix, which is run by two girls, and one of them did a video on how women are represented sexually in games and how it should be done, which I thought was an interesting topic because it wasn't saying they shouldn't be represented sexually, it's just about how they represented, the reasoning behind them being represented that way. And when I looked at the comments after watching the video, people were bringing up stuff that she just hadn't considered. Oh, here we go. Car crash. Look how, this is so cool. I love that they've added this. And cars get pulled over and you just come across all these accidents. Was that a car that was on fire? What? They put it out? That's crazy. I'm listening to the Bertcast and also open tabs, which is interesting because he just talks about, oh, this is the stuff that I've been googling. I don't Google stuff that much myself, but apparently he does, so that was interesting. And the Bertcast was interesting as well because he did one with his nutritionist, who he has because he was doing a triathlon, and so that's how he's ended up with her, because he needed a team of people. He got connected with Men's Health, and he says they had something like 1 million followers on Twitter or something. It's crazy. And for something like Men's Health, is that a worldwide thing? Is that a national American thing? I just assumed that was a national American thing, and there's 330 million Americans, so God, I know so much stuff apparently. And I'm not talking very loudly because it's a bit quiet, and I've tried to aim my microphone at my head so that when I talk you can hear me, and it doesn't you don't hear my keyboard too much, and maybe not my computer as well, which is super loud right now actually. Right, here we go. Changing lanes. But listening to him and Cynthia Sass, who's a nutritionist, in one of the Bertcasts, I think it was the latest one. Well, it's not the latest one because he posted a new one yesterday, I think. And so I thought that was really cool. People just do podcasts heaps. But again, I don't understand how Bert Kreischer's become so popular, because he's not that funny. He's hit and miss, like I said before, and I think maybe he could do with a bit of criticism, but maybe not from me. I mean, I've watched one of his specials on Netflix tonight. I requested that we watch it, me and my family, because I thought, hey, here's something we could watch. And Bert Kreischer wasn't so awful that we turned it off, so it's not that bad. It just is hit and miss, and it's mostly the sexual stuff that he talks about, which it puts me off a little bit, because I don't like people talking about this sort of stuff. It's very sensitive. People talk about blowjobs and stuff like that, and I'm not a fan of that sort of talk. It's unnecessary. Sometimes in the bedroom talk should stay in the bedroom. There we go. I've got 103 hours in this game, which is pretty good. I think this is one of my most played games. Probably second to... Well, no, it wouldn't be second, I think it'd be third. I just know about it, read it out once in a video, I think. No, I think it was the boys on the Eisner Amato Discord, where you were playing Jackbox, and Eisner Amato read it out. He said, "Oh, these are your top 4 games that you played." I think number 1 was Civ 5, because I've done 1,000 hours or something in it. And then I think second would probably be TF2. No, second might be TF2. Third would be Dawn of War 2, and then I think this is 4th. So I've played this a fair amount, more than most of my games, but not. I don't know, it's just one of those games that I keep coming back to because it's a calm sort of game. And I get to think about stuff, so usually it's just something to do while I'm listening to a podcast, because I just don't like sitting still the whole thing, because it's boring. I want to do something else that does something. And this week I've been applying for jobs, and I applied for 3 today, and then 4 on Monday and Tuesday. I meant to apply for 2 today, but I'm going to have to put that one over on to tomorrow, so I have to do 4 tomorrow. And I think that'll be alright. I might be able to do 4 tomorrow, and then that'll be fine. And so I'm calling this Jobs Week, where I focus on applying for jobs. And next week will be Comics Week, where I work on my one comic that I do, just called Hale Kane. It's a superhero comic. Watch out for... Come on, dude. Come on. Yeah. There we go. I do one comic, but I've called it Comics Week because, I don't know, I might work on more than one. I don't know how the week's gonna go, but it's my one comic. And I always do superheroes. I always do hero stuff when I write stories, which is interesting. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. Hale Kane superhero stuff, Damn Legacy superhero stuff, kind of superhero stuff. But my film stuff is not about heroes, it's about cops. Loosely inspired by Lethal Weapon. And I say loosely like I was inspired by the idea of the series and the 80s vibe that you get from it, and just kind of some of the stuff that they talk about in that show, which it's childish. Well, it started off childish. It's gotten a bit more serious now as I've grown up. because I started it when I was 14, which was also when I did YouTube, when I started YouTube. Started YouTube in April 2010, and then in October I started this cop show called The Copies, with 3 P's, because that's part of the joke stuff. I used to think of myself as like my style was to do funny stuff, but I don't know how to do funny stuff anymore because I'm not very funny. But next week's Hale Kane week, and I got a lot of work to do. I gotta make my characters more interesting, particularly KJ. And I've read a few books lately. Well, I read one book called Jason Chaser, Hovercar Racer, by Matthew Riley, and it's good, but the characters are boring, and I think the story it's not that interesting, but the characters are probably the most essential part of your story. If they need to have a flaw, the main character doesn't have a flaw. He's just kind of talented and he works hard, and that's why he wins races. He's not particularly crap at anything, which makes me just not like him very much, and not think that he's a very interesting character. And so, and then I today had to go sit in a waiting room while someone else had an appointment, and while I was doing that I read a book that's one of my favourites called, apparently I wasn't accelerating, called The New Heroes, The Quantum Prophecy. I don't think that one inspired me to do Hale Kane, but whoa, did not see that car coming. He was just right under me, wasn't he? I don't like this bit. Luckily I am way faster than this truck. Dude, they're just going super fast. He must have just flown under me. No, he can't have, because there was another car in front. Anyway. But The New Heroes, Quantum Prophecy, I've read just heaps and heaps of times. And it's... I think, yet again, the characters just aren't clear. Like, there's a bit where they've got to do homework. But it's probably a core thing that would tell us something about the character. Do they do the homework? You know, how do they approach it? And my problem is that they just such for bloody goody two-shoes, and they don't make any mistakes, and everything's someone else's fault, and it's just boring. And so that's really helpful for me when trying to make my main character, my comics, KJ, better. Because he doesn't seem to be very awful at anything. He's just kind of overly dedicated to his job, which is being a superhero, because he's decided that he wants to be a superhero as a full-time thing, which he's lucky enough to be able to do because the times changed and his success lended itself to the commercial landscape, the commercial environment of his country at the time. And he's from Detroit. Well, kind of. He was in prison in Detroit, but he grew up in Detroit for his whole life until he was 15, and eventually come on, turn into an 80s zone, damn it. Here we go. And then he was in prison for 12 years, and then he at some stage during that time he was moved to Chicago because while he was in prison bad guys rose and took over Detroit, And so when he got out of prison in Chicago, that was when he... How come they were Commodores? It looks like a Commodore. Like a VF Commodore. I don't know what that car is. See that? That looks like a... What the heck? I keep seeing him and go, what? That looks like an... Maybe it's like, this is the Opel design, but it's... Stuck behind a truck. I am a truck. I need to be in this lane at some stage, so I'll just go for it. I think that's Braid by Nirvana. I was doing a little hum thing then. I'm not a big fan of Nirvana. I have almost all the albums, because at one stage I was really into them, and I think it's an interesting band for sure. Okay. This is not the easy bit. I'm not a big fan of Nirvana. I think because I've outgrown them. It's the sort of band... Well, it's interesting because Kurt Cobain was 27 when he died. When he killed himself. And people kill themselves for secret reasons. It's like a selfish thing. Which is offensive to say, I guess, because... Oh, you can't speak ill of the dead, but they decided that they were not good enough for the world, or the world was not good enough for them. There's a conflict between what they're in and what they are. How long have we been going? How come I've got 4% damage now? We've been going for half an hour. So I can do more time. I don't know how long I want this to be a thing for, but here we go. Vroom. Here we go. Just find just another job. And not really into any of those. I don't like doing urgent jobs because I can never get them done on time. Let's go. This is the side we have to be on. And I think it'll be alright to be in this part. Yep, knew it. What a dick. But I think that every creator, artist can get criticism for what they do. I think Bert Kreisher is an interesting person and can definitely do better with what he's got. And he suggests that he lacks the intelligence to make his content better or something. Or he's just telling a story in an entertaining way, so it's the stories that he wants to tell that he thinks are interesting. So it's always going to be up to him whether he tells those stories or not. But I was talking about Hale Kane I just need to fix KJ. I need to make him more interesting. And I explained the things that are wrong with the characters that I've been reading and why they're just not that great. And it's Jason Chaser in Hovercar Racer, and pretty much every character in, well, every character in Hovercar Racer. But Jason Chaser's the main character. He's got to be the most interesting character. You got to root for the hero. You got to feel something for the hero to actually have some kind of engagement and want to find out more about his story. Because the whole thing is just kind of, he's just really great, and there were bad people that were stopping him from achieving great things. Which, I think it could have been more about what he was doing wrong, what he sucked at, that made him not able to be the best. And it's interesting because rookies lack something when they enter a racing series, which is what Hovercar Racing, the series, is all about. I can keep going. Okay. Whoa. Wait, I've been paying attention to the rear vision mirror. God damn it, I'm an idiot. Right. Wanna go... screw it, we'll just go right. It's easier. Go. I guess how I gained speed. I guess I'm gonna go right again. But I think KJ can be more interesting. I think I can definitely make him a more interesting character. It's always possible, and I don't have so much attention or something that doing it would be a bad move. Can I? Do I have to go forward to get in? Oh, you bitch. There we go. That one. Yeah, it's a really short job. Okay, whatever. That's good. We did half an hour for a really long job. Oh, it wasn't that long actually. A lot of the jobs I've been doing lately have just made me want to have taken me across Europe, mostly across Germany. Interesting ones were in Italy and Switzerland, very mountainous areas. Right, we're on. Right. Yeah, but that's my thing about Bert Kreisher concluded. What are you gonna do, Goblin? What are you gonna do? Let me in. Let me in. Let me. Let me. Here we go. And then we go left. And then we go right. And then we go left. Okay. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit excited for next week because of the comic stuff that I have to do. That I've decided that I should do. It's all me, it's how I'm tackling my problems, but acknowledging how I'm, well, not problems, the things that I want to do, and the time I think I need to do them. So I just make a whole week about it, and say that I can't work on it at any other time. I'll probably still be applying for jobs, just maybe not with the same kind of concentration. Not sure really, because it's still in the back of my mind and it is the most important thing. So I do actually need. Ooh, this is not a good position to be in. I need to be in the left-hand lane. Aha, good. Just cut in here. Nice. And that guy cuts in as well. Ooh. And Hale Kane will eventually be interesting. And I have to make it interesting. I have to do a lot of work to make it an interesting world. A world that I want to write about, and a world that I think other people would want to learn about. So that's what I have to do. And it's a big task, but Ice Nanomato has set the stage with Cass the Psychopath. You know, I've been doing comics longer than he has, but he's one of those people that, like, when he does it well, or he doesn't do it at all. I can't think of anything creative that he hasn't done and sucked at. Did I say that right? Everything he does well, and so I can't think of anything that he has done that he has been bad at. So, I mean, he did animations. He did one animation for Im Industries, and that was, he did a really good job of that. And it's usually why he doesn't do things very often. Artistic stuff, when people say, oh, can you do this? And the backstory behind doing that animation was, well, the main thing in the past is that he'd said that he'd love to do one, but it takes up a lot of time, because the way he would want to do it is to do it really well, and so he'd want to find a good moment in our recordings. And I think it's for the stage that we got to, actually. Recently we just got to a stage where we've done enough animations, it's time to build up more content and have more moments that can be animated. Because it's what Game Grumps have done lately, is there's been an animated every Thursday, or for every second week or something like that, and a lot of them have been just pretty boring, and I'm just going, what the heck is this? What is this? Why? How is this funny? And it's this expectation that everything they do is funny, and they're funny and interesting people, but it's not always that great. And there was a recent one that was done really well. I think, did I watch it today or yesterday, something like that, where this guy had, I think it was called How to Make a Remix, How to Make a Game Grumps Remix. They did a good job with it, and I don't know if that was so much an animated as anything else, but I don't know if that was an actual animated in the regular sense of, here's a bit from an episode that we turned into a cartoon video that we made a cartoon for. So, but I have ideas for the future of Hale Kane. It's just a matter of lining the balls up. Do you line balls up? Maybe more like lining 10-pin bowling pins up, or setting up the pool table so that when you hit the white ball and it hits all the other ones, they all scatter in a way that makes sense. I'm saying a lot of I don't know where to go with what I'm talking about. And this one is this current Friday Night Fun that I'm doing here for the Mabini is is another driving game, and I think all of them on the Mabini have been driving games. And I don't think that's the best thing for the channel, because I'm trying to build it up again. It's pretty, I mean, apart from that 400 view Super Night 300 NBA Supercars 1 thing. Is he letting me in? He's coming around me. Yeah, it's a little complication. Alright. Let's stop. Another channel I've been watching has been B-Bros by Kasich and Shaddy. I can't remember what their last names are, but Kasich has been one of those YouTubers who has had success, but not in the way that he wants. In a kind of taking advantage of something that, and his true passion has been VR, and he tried to, oh shit. Thank you. VR is Kasich's true passion. I think it's the one thing that he actually believes in, and he's had success with Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think that success was good for him in terms of saying he can be a very successful YouTuber, but it's not a success in the way that he wanted, so he just kind of dropped the ball there, and on purpose he just went, nah, not interested in this anymore, this isn't what I want. And then what did he do? He tried to do like a reboot thing, and then that wasn't what he wanted, and now he's doing B-Bros, which is he and his brother Shaddy doing reaction videos, which I think that's a step back, but I think it's also just what's working at the moment for a lot of YouTubers is reaction videos, and it's not something that I particularly like, but I like them, so I watch it, and I think that the stuff they talk about is interesting, and so that makes it good. What the frick? What did you think was gonna happen, Buster? I'm in the middle of the road. If you could drive, that'd be fucking fantastic. What do I do? What the fuck? Don't hurt me. Don't damage my cargo. Oh my god. In real life, that would not happen like... I mean, actually, it would happen like that. Some people just aren't paying attention when they go. And I was in the middle there. I was ready to go. And then I went, and this dickhead's in the middle of the road. Right. That wasn't what I wanted. But anyway, that's Kasich and his interesting YouTube history. And his brother Shaddy has had a similarly interesting history of many attempts, but not what he wanted, I guess. Which is interesting. The number of times that he rebooted his channel is so many times that you wonder if he's doing it for any particular reason. Going, what the heck is this? Yeah, this isn't gonna work. Getting deja vu now because this is one of the places I was... Oh. I was putting a trailer in or something, or hooking up. I think I was parking and loading up the next trailer here while listening to Open Tabs by Bert Kreisher. I think I'm pretty into just listening to podcasts in general lately, because what I've been doing has been not much fun. I'm finding a new way actually to write a cover letter in a way that I think is more appealing to anyone who would want to read it, because it tells you more about me and my experiences and how I've dealt with opportunity and responsibility and customers and stuff like that, because I'm mostly applying for office and receptionist work, because that's what I think I'm qualified and experienced enough to do. I'm tired actually right now, but I'm doing what I gotta do, and I'm playing this because I want to play it. And then I think after this I'm going to listen to the latest Bertcast. And now that we're done here, that's what I will do. Okay, see you guys next time, bye bye.